So, good afternoon. We are here at the Ono Academic College. Today, our guest is Professor Gil Siegal, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Law at the Ono Academic College. We're happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I heard that your career has a very unique combination. You are both ENT surgeon, a doctor,
Correct.
and a professor of law. So tell me how it is combined together, and what does serving as dean means to you personally?
So these are two distinct, of course, questions. The first one, what made me have this schizophrenic, some would say, career? I studied medicine at Tel Aviv University, but I wasn't happy enough because being a medical student, you're very passive. You sit in a class from 8 to 4 in the afternoon and just absorb more and more information. You don't create anything. You just need to memorize and learn. And I wasn't happy because my soul was looking for something else. And my dad, who is a very famous surgeon, said, you need to go study law. I says, why? That will open up your heart. And he was, of course, right. So I had the morning for medical school, and the afternoons I studied law. And I actually emerged as a student in both fields. And that's, of course, allowed me both to enjoy the academics of science, but also the spirit, the intellectual challenges of the law and philosophy. And it combines very nicely as the second stage of my career, which is bioethics. It's the ethics of biology. And now, equipped with understanding of law, do's and don'ts, rules, regulation, it's very easy, or it's easier, I'd be more modest, it's easier to give good advice when we're talking about how to practice medicine. So can I take a kidney from a father to a child? Can I take the kidney from the child to the father? Is it okay to have single family parents? IVF. Can I buy an ovum, an egg of a woman? Is it okay to have a termination of a person's life if he doesn't want to live? If he wants to live and you think the treatment will be futile, can you enforce me to give him care? Can I judge a doctor for malpractice if he was a single surgeon in a very busy emergency room? All those questions that are supposedly legal happen in a very medical environment. So my knowledge of both worlds, I think, is very helpful. And I was very privileged to be in very important spots in the history of healthcare in Israel, the law of patients' rights, the end-of-life law, IVF law, and so on and so forth. So I was very lucky to have this both careers and then be able to really help shape regulation and laws in this country.
Would you describe yourself more as a doctor or as a law professor?
That's a very interesting question. Am I more a doctor or am I more a lawyer? And I would say clearly, if someone asked me, are you more a father or more a husband? I couldn't answer, right? So I think I'm both of them. I was raised as in both professions. So in that sense, I'm lucky that I don't have to choose because thank God I'm doing both. I'm an active surgeon and now I'm the new appointed dean of the law school. And it's a very busy schedule, very busy. But again, being in both worlds, keep me very interested. I'm never bored. I don't have a single day that is the same as the previous day. So every day is a new challenge. I wake up hungry for the next day. And I think if someone listened to me and he's now in his 40s, 50s, and he's asking himself, how can I keep up being interested in life? What will keep me going? I'll say, have another layer of education, another layer of occupation, another layer of interest, and that will keep you young and thriving and kicking.
So at the Ono Academic College, you both teach and serve as the dean of the faculty. What do you like the most?
Well, clearly being a teacher is the best part. There's no question even. It doesn't have a parallel because we have classes of, I would say, between 80 to 100 students. They come to the class, you see their interest in law, but they're very young. Not necessarily by age, but they're young in the sense that they know very little about the law. And once you take them in that very early stage and you shape their understanding of the forces in society, who's calling the shots? What's the rationale behind this law? Why do we have this resolution by the Supreme Court? Suddenly you see their eyes going, now I get it. And now I'm actually empowering them to be responsible citizens, to be able to shape their communities, their professional groups. So this is a very formative stage that you are actually boosting. You're actually starting and then boosting. So I'm very privileged and I love being a teacher in the classroom.
If a young student at its first year will ask you what, to your opinion, is the best career path for them, whether it's being a lawyer in a corporate environment or to pursue maybe a master's degree or a PhD, what would you recommend them?
Well, this is it's a very good question, because if you look at the history of legal education, you see that 100 people will end up in very, very different places. So I would say that I will have to sit with that person and ask her, what do you like about your education, your teaching, your schooling experience? What is giving you enjoyment? And then we see, is it you want to litigate? You want to represent the big corporates? You want to represent actually social needs, like the disabled person? You care about arbitration. You care about mediation. You want to be CEO of a big bank. All the bankers in Israel are looking to lawyers and say, okay, can you be the CEO? And insurance companies and politics. 60% of the members of parliament have legal degree. So in most worlds and around the Western world. So it's very powerful to have a legal education, and legal education can take you anywhere. So it really depends on that person and what is he interested in. And then we can carve a good advice.
So now let's talk a little bit about international law program here at Ono Academic College. Why would a student come from abroad, from countries where there are great law schools, and study here in Ono? Tell us a little bit about the experience here.
I think that the opportunity to study in Ono is unique in the sense that it offers the following advantages that I think are really important. Number one, it's an international school. So you will study law with peers from many, many places. This will undoubtedly broaden your perspective. You don't be studying with the same people, with the same ideas. No, this is something else. So your educational experience will be boosted from an cultural and historical and even geographical experience. So this is something that's very powerful to you as an individual. You will emerge much stronger, much more knowledgeable. Number two, you will meet top-tier professors. The Israeli professors here have all PhDs from Europe and from the United States, but also very knowledgeable in the Israeli context. So again, a triple education as opposed to the regular education in your home countries. And the third, I think, is that studying abroad is challenging in the sense that you're getting out of your comfort zone. What does that do to you as a person? It will make you stronger because you will be able to deal with changing environment, changing events. Your inner core. I can deal with difficulties. I can surpass challenges. That's a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful offering.
No doubt about the academic level here, but I want to ask you what kind of support a student from abroad can get, because being is always challenging and combining it with the academic studies can be very, very challenging. So
not very, it could be somewhat challenging.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's put the table straight. A student that is coming to Ono now, we as a system understand his challenges. So we in advance are creating an entire network that will surround the student and give them what they need. So it's either helping them out with the linguistic barriers, it's helping them out with the formalities, how to rent an apartment, to review the contracts, where is a good place to actually rent an apartment, all the daily necessities, healthcare, everything around it. And within Ono, we have creating this atmosphere that is very welcome and very receptive to the newcomers. And I think in that sense, any problem that will be arisen will be taken care of immediately by the staff. It's very easy to say, Ono cares so much about the international law. Ono will go out of its ways to help the students have a good experience. So in that sense, my bet is you'll get much more than you expect.
Now let's talk about an inevitable topic in this time in 2026, about the AI and how it affects the world, and specifically regarding law. I know that a lot of people today which are not lawyers, they use AI to solve some issues regarding to law. They can put their contracts into AI and ask his advice about it. and advices about some agreements that they have to take with other people. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I think you promised me easy questions, and this is a hard one. And the reason is that the legal world now is really grappling with AI, because AI is really affecting every aspect of the education and the employment level. So starting from should I be in class? I can have the entire class transcribed in AI, give me the handouts, I can study by myself. Wrong answer, because you need the class experience to engage with your peers, engage with the professor, ask him hard questions, make him ask you hard questions, and sharpen your skills, your argumental skills, your analysis skills, all that. So that is something that classroom experience is essential. Education, the class experience. The testing, it's very hard for us to decide how to evaluate our students now, because writing a home task, well, you put the task in the AI and get the answer. So me as a professor, should I take it as, of course he gets a straight A because AI wrote it so nicely? Or, okay, this is the AI answer. Now let's see you ponder on the assignment. Did it get it right? Do you have the critical analysis, the critical skills to review the product of the AI and say right or wrong, hallucination, made up references, and so on and so forth? And future employment. And law firms are struggling with how should we take the interns? Should we take less interns because we have the AI to review documents and draft them? So it's a question that doesn't really pertain to Ono. It pertains to the entire world. However, and this is the point I want to first stress, Ono has a special task force on AI in education. And right now, I'm very pleased to say that we are probably the first school on the planet, but if not, definitely in Israel, that will have personalized education, in the sense that students will have personalized AI assistants that will help them go through the learning of the courses, have daily questions in their WhatsApp on the material that they learned, and there will be a follow-up on the performances. And then if they're struggling, there'll be assistance sent their way. So AI, we're going to use AI as a part and parcel of the education process, but without making our students weak. So think about legal skills, like going to the gym. Yeah, you can hire the trainer to do the push-ups for you, but that's not going to be helpful. You need to have your muscle strengths. So our role is to use AI to still strengthen your muscles and not the instructor's muscles.
Exactly. What would you say the biggest difference between the days when you were a young law student and today's studies when you look at the students here in Ono?
Well, I think the several big differences are striking. Number one is the availability of information. In my time, information was the asset. So whoever controlled the information, the books, the court ruling, the analysis was king. Today, information is free, is available to everybody. So access to information is no longer an issue. I was an expert because I had the knowledge and you didn't, so you came to me. Now, all that paradigm is shifting. So knowledge is no longer the issue, and access to it is no longer an issue. Engagement. We were sitting in the class for hours because that was the only place we could meet our professors and discuss the issues. Now everything is recorded. So why should I come to class? So I have to get my students back in the sitting chairs in the class, and that is a huge challenge. So that's a big difference in that sense. And the last thing I would like to point is the romantic perspective. Students today seem to be a bit more cynical because they have so much more life experience. We were kind of naive, so we had this romantic view, and I need to get some romantic into my students, keep them engaged. I see your eyes now. When you're looking at me, you're excited because you want to hear what I want to say. I need that in my students. They need to be excited. They need to care. And not just passing the exam, not passing the bar. Care about what we're doing. If you're going to be an attorney that is doing the public defending program, that's a huge undertaking. You want to defend those who are weak, vulnerable. Show me your passion. Show me that you care. So if I can enlight that spark in your academic career, I've changed you. And this is something that I'm afraid of. With all the technology, this can get lost in translation. So that's my role as a dean, to keep the flame high and not diminished.
Speaking about AI, in the Chicago University Law School, the teachers have forbidden their students to use AI. They only allow their students to work with AI in the second year of studies. What is your opinion about that?
So, thinking about AI, the University of Chicago just launched its program stating that the first year students must be equipped with independent learning and analysis skills. So, their idea of talking about we just talked about the muscles of legal reasoning and legal practice is that the first year will be devoted to zero technology interaction. So it's like old school teaching, the way I was brought. And once I have equipped my students in the first year with those basic tools, now let's send them out to the world and and use and be empowered by technology with AI, which is an interesting concept because you don't choose one, you actually have both, the old school and the new school. I think this makes sense. I can just rest assured, there'll be many pilots around the world how to incorporate AI in education and practice. And this is just one example. I think Ono's College is a bit more relaxed in that sense because we cannot control students the way they will use AI in their daily life and outside. But of course, once they rely on AI, we'll actually examine their performances in class, in face-to-face interaction. So the international law students should expect both things, old school and new school, meaning technology, AI, incorporation of those technologies in their daily practice, but also face-to-face demonstration of your legal capabilities, of your legal skills. And this, I think, will create a rounded person as opposed to I'm only technology or I'm only law school. And this is really what a good law school is all about, giving you an experience of both aspects, of both schools of thought, and then allowing you to grow in your life, allowing you to choose. I'm more tech, I'm more individual, I'm still going to write with hand notes or going to use only voice AI tools that I can all the typing for me. Yeah, we can have both. I think at the end of the day, people will choose what works for them.
So we almost reached the end. And if you could give an advice to a person who lives outside of Israel, whether he should study in Israel, but whether it be business or law or something else. So what is your advice for them? How they can make the best decision?
Yeah. Well, I would say the following. I have been very proud of my students, of Ono students, doing their master's and their PhD overseas in Europe and the United States. Why? I told them, you've had the Israeli experience, now experience something else. So take this quote and reverse it. Okay, the college experience or the high school experience in Europe and in the United States, now get something else. Don't have more of the same. And with this, I'm really emphasizing, number one, coming to Israel as a vibrant, fun in the sense of Tel Aviv, Friday evening, and Jerusalem, Saturday night afternoon. Eilat, Beersheba, Golan Heights, the Dead Sea, all those experiences that are overwhelmed with history, and then get your legal education in this backdrop. And once you have that legal education, you can choose whether or not this is something you want to pursue locally or go back home. You will get from our law school both abilities. Have the Israeli and the American or other international law degree as will suit your program. But all in all, and this is my really bottom line, life is about experiences. It's not about playing safe. It's not about I want the straight, easiest way. No. If you know this, I go to the gym a lot. So they say, no pain, no gain. What does it really mean? If you put an effort, if you get excited, if you put your heart in, you will get the results. So this is an opportunity. We're opening you a door. Jump in.
I agree. And it's not only no pain, no gain, but you also have to like the pain a little because you know that the type of pain, what makes you grow and develop more.
Correct. And a muscle will always grow only if it's put to the point of difficulty.
Yeah.
So 0. Lifting up a weight, good work. So I think that if you want to ask yourself, how will I be a stronger person? How can I provide to my kids not just the money, but the experience, the understanding of the world? I say, jump on the next plane and get an experience somewhere else. So if you're an Israeli, I send my students to master's and PhD overseas.
Thank you very much. It was very inspiring, and we'll meet you at the next time in the show of meeting the Ono's professors. Thank you.